Hello and welcome back, you guys. We are back again with the Carver route of Heartbaked. We're on Chapter 5 of the Carver route, Chapter 6 of the whole thing. And you know the drill, we're gonna probably lose and then have to play this all over again. And I'll give you all the little special tidbits, but for now, we're just gonna jump right into Chapter 6. The days seemed to drag on. Normally, I had no trouble filling my time baking, serving customers, dealing with Radley, but for some reason I kept finding myself looking at the clock and out the windows, impatient for the sun to start going down. Hi, Bay. I looked over, lifting my head from the counter. You've been selling an awful lot today. Everything all right? What? Oh, yeah. I looked over at the clock again, straightening when I saw what time it was. I looked over to the door quickly, flipping the sign to close before hurrying back to tidy up the kitchen. Finally, a time I could justify closing at. I got a rag to wipe down the flour-stained countertop, humming to myself as I did so. B? Yeah? It's barely 6. I blinked, realizing after a moment that, naturally, Radley couldn't read my mind, and I hadn't told him about my date. Earlier in the morning, Carver had come over to work out the details, and since baking had gone so well the first time, well, as they said, if it wasn't burnt, don't fix it, or something like that. The only difference would be a change in location. Knowing I only had a bit of time left, I quickly started putting away the ingredients I'd used during the day, pushing a smattering of frosting tips to the side. Yeah, another early day today. I've got plans. How embarrassing. I couldn't tell Radley I had a date with Carver of all people. I mean, I did talk with him a little about it, but talking and actually going through with it are two different things. Plans? Yeah, so you can head home now. You sure you don't need me for anything else? I could stick around and help you clean up. I'd rather spare myself that embarrassment. No. Nope, all good here. You can go now. Are you sure? You look like you've got your hands... Radley, beat it. Okay, B. He adjusted his hat, heading for the kitchen door. I'll see you tomorrow, then. I nodded, glad that I'd managed to get him out before Carver showed up. Fake or not, that would make the date even more awkward than it already would be. The last one hadn't been so bad. I finished cleaning up a bit, and then ran upstairs to change since my shirt had a bunch of icing stains on it. Carver was probably used to that sort of thing, but I wanted to look like I was putting in some effort. Even if we were probably just going to get dirty baking all over again. When I came back down to the shop, I heard a knock and quickened my pace. Wow, I'm just words. He's early. I pulled open the door, smiling. You're early. Carver blinked, folding his arms across his chest. He was holding a whisk, and it made the gesture look awkward. I'm right on time. Your clock must be fast. I frowned, looking over at said clock and mimicking his gesture. By 20 minutes? So I came a tiny bit early. Do you want me to leave and come back? His tone was petulant, and I laughed, opening the door wider so he could come inside. Just couldn't wait to see me, huh? Hardly. How could I pass up an opportunity to get a peek at the undoubtedly pathetic hovel you call a kitchen? Hey, my kitchen is way better than yours, mister. Yours didn't even have a background. His lips curled up in that smirk of his, one that I had never seen before yesterday. In a universe where it's always opposite day, maybe. I hit his arm and he chuckled, catching my wrist when I moved to do it again. I swore I felt his thumb rub over the bottom of my palm, and I got caught up in wondering whether it was intentional or not. You know what they say about people who resort to violence. Oh yeah? What's that? Sorry, B, I forgot. Oh no. Oh no. I was right. I cringed as the two of them stared at each other, neither one looking happy. Hey Radley, you forgot something? Did you get lost on your way back to your anthill? Radley. I think I should be asking you that. You didn't get tired of trailing after B during the day. You have to do it in your off time, too. From the look on Radley's face, I could tell that this needed an intervention if it was going to end peacefully. Radley, we were kind of in the middle of something. The germaphobe looked over at me, frowning, then suddenly his mood seemed to shift. Right. Radley gave me a knowing smile and then turned to walk out of the shop. Wait, Radley! I tugged on his sleeve, exasperated. What did you come back for? It doesn't matter. I'll take care of it tomorrow. I frowned, but he walked out, shutting the door behind him. Sorry about that. It was obviously that Radley's visit had soured the other's mood. I sighed inwardly, shifting my weight to one leg, and things were going so well, too. I could practically taste the cake. Okay, this could still be salvaged. So, to the kitchen? I walked that way, and for a second I thought Carver wasn't going to come. A second later, though, he followed, a grumpy look on his face. So why'd you bring that? I pointed to the whisk in his hand, and his brow furrowed harder than it already was. I have a routine. If I'm already going to be baking out of another kitchen, I wanted to have something familiar. I don't expect you to grasp that, though, considering your own haphazard techniques. I let out a sigh, forcing myself to let the comment go. I had to go. I was thinking we could make cupcakes. He scoffed. Why am I not surprised? Okay, well, do you have a better idea? Whatever. This was the Carver I was used to. He looked irritated and uncomfortable, and he set the whisk down on the counter, a distinct frown on his lips. Even though it was no different than usual, I found myself growing irritated. I started getting out the ingredients, a frown curling my lips. Behind me, Carver scoffed. You didn't prepare at all, did you? I should have known, even with pre-planning, you'd prove incompetent in the end. I glared at him, slamming down the mixing bowl. All right, that's it. I don't know what's spat in your pastrios, but you better get it all sorted out. He didn't say anything for a long while, and I frowned, staring at him a second longer before continuing to get out the ingredients we needed. It was quiet as I added flour and baking powder to the bowl, and he watched me, drumming his fingers against his arms. You're adding too much salt. I glared, mixing a bit harder. It's no wonder nobody likes you. My heart nearly stopped beating in my chest when I realized I said that out loud. At least I don't have to rely on a dead relative to keep my bakery afloat. I stared at Carver in shock, the bowl dropping from my hands. It slammed against the edge of the counter and slid off, spilling flour, baking powder, and sugar on the ground at my feet. I barely noticed. No, every time there's, mean moments like this, I feel so terrible. I feel so bad for both of them right now. It's oh. They both said things they didn't want to say, and now it's just terrible. Okay, keep going, Shaula. At least I have friends. Slap him. This is why nobody likes you. Oh no. No, these are all terrible, guys. I don't want to do any of these. At least I have friends? No, this is why nobody likes you? Slap him. You guys know what? You know what? If I'm going down, I'm already going down hard. I'm just gonna slap him. And you guys are gonna be like, Shaula, how could you slap him? That's the most terrible thing you could ever do. But it's better than to totally hurting his emotional feelings. A slap will at least tell him, I'm angry at you, but I'm not gonna say mean words back. But this is why nobody likes you. I would feel terrible if somebody said that to me because, I already have self-esteem issues. If somebody said that to me, I would be so hurt. It would hurt me worse than a slap to the face. That's what I'm saying. The slap to the face is just an instance of physical pain that, might just tells him how I feel at this moment. But these two options are, so mean. They just make the fight go on longer. So I'm just gonna slap him. He deserves it. I deserve a slap to the face too, though. I hope he slaps me back at some point. Before I realized what was happening, my hand had connected with his cheek. Carver stared at me in shock, and I could feel myself breathing heavily, tears burning behind my eyes. Anger burned through me so hotly I thought I would burst into flames. I didn't mean... It doesn't matter how good your stupid pastries are. Your attitude ruins them. I might use my grandmother's recipes, but at least I'm not a joke. You're everyone's favorite punchline, and that's all you'll ever be. Oh, that just made it worse. She should have just shut up. Just slapped him and been done. Carver's eyes widened. I could feel my heart pounding, anger and hurt fueling my words. I didn't even know what I was saying anymore. Why do you think the mayor chose me to be this year's pastry chef? He can't stand you. Nobody can. And that includes me. I hate you. We stared at each other, my shoulders trembling. His nostrils were flared, knuckles white from how tight he was clenching his fists. And this was a mistake. I was stupid for ever thinking this could work. Oh, I'm the worst. I feel so terrible. I watched him go, pressing my lips together as I felt heat running down my cheeks. I sniffled, pressing my palms against my eyes and trying to get a hold of myself. I couldn't believe he would say something like that. I couldn't believe I would say something like... I let out a shuddering breath, looking around the kitchen. My eyes fell on the bowl I'd dropped, and I kneeled down, gingerly picking it off the ground. As I set it on the counter, I spied the whisk Carver had brought with him. I wiped my eyes again, looking at the door. I didn't want to go find him to give it back. I didn't want to see him. My mind played the argument back in my head, and I swallowed as some of the anger finally started to fade. I heard a knock on the door and blinked, looking up. I wasn't sure how long I'd been standing there, lost in my head. I walked slowly through the shop, pulling open the door with a blank face. My stomach tightened, and I felt at once relieved and disappointed when I saw who it was. Oh, what do you want? I wasn't in the mood for this. I wasn't in the mood for anything.
Carver said he left something over here. He sent me to retrieve it.
Right, the whisk. I walked back and picked it up from the counter, staring down at it. It was just an ordinary cooking utensil, not fancy or special in any way. I shook my head, heading back into the shop to hand it over to Benjamin. Here.
Thank you. For what it's worth, Bu, I'm sorry that your date didn't work out.
I frowned, staring up at the shepherd. How did he know about it?
Carver really seemed to be looking forward to it.
Benjamin nodded his head at me, turning to head back outside. I stared after him, my breath slowing to a crawl. I bit my lip, the words I'd spat out without thinking floating around my head. Everyone's favorite punchline. I pressed a hand to my forehead, letting out a deep breath. I'd heard Carver start to apologize. I knew he didn't mean what he'd said. Pastry God help me, I didn't mean what I'd said either. I didn't even know I could be so spiteful. He just brought something out in me. And he'd been looking forward to this. And stupidly enough, I'd been looking forward to it too. For the cake, right? I stared up at the ceiling, a sense of restlessness growing with every second I laid in bed. The longer I remembered what happened, the worse I felt. I'd called him a joke. I'd said I hated him. He'd said awful things too, but I couldn't stop thinking about the look on his face. Couldn't stop thinking about the fact that I'd started it all. It's no wonder nobody likes you. If I hadn't have said that, I know that none of this would have happened. And what had he said to deserve it? Telling me I'd added too much salt? Ugh. What was wrong with me? Tomorrow. I'd apologize tomorrow. It didn't feel soon enough. Oh, I feel so bad. Okay, but slapping him was a good option. Look at that. We're up in the ranks, guys. Slapping him was smart. That sounds terrible. Oh my god. I feel so bad. Like, this Heartbaked, like, just makes you feel bad for saying stupid things in the heat of the moment. Every time. Like, don't be an impulsive person, pretty much. If you're impulsive, it ends terribly. That's what we're learning at this point. Well, okay. Oh. I'm kind of nervous. I think it's gonna have a bad ending. We're gonna have a bad ending this time around. But maybe we can save it. Maybe we can. Alright, so you guys know the drill. Have a great weekend. Have a good week. And good night.